This video is on net ionic equations. So a net ionic equation is an equation for a reaction in a solution that only shows the parts that make a precipitate. Remember, a precipitate is the solid that is formed from a reaction. So there's three major steps to follow after a double replacement reaction is complete. First, we're going to check solubilities of all compounds. So we're going to use our solubility rules. Remember that reactants are always going to be aqueous or soluble. Otherwise, we couldn't mix them together. Then you're going to circle your solid that's in the products. And that's going to tell you what you're going to write your net ionic equation for. Then, for your net ionic equation, you'll write the solid as a product of the net ionic equation. And for the reactants, you'll write the two ions that came together to make the solid. Remember to include charges, states of matter, and to balance. So let's do two examples. If I have silver nitrate and sodium iodide reacted together, double replacement reaction to make sodium nitrate and silver iodide. When I go ahead and I write my formulas, silver nitrate plus sodium iodide to make sodium nitrate and silver iodide. Sodium nitrate is a reactant, always aqueous, AQ. Same thing with sodium iodide. It's another reactant, always aqueous, AQ. Now I need to check my two products. My first one is a nitrate. I go to my solubility rules. Nitrate ions plus any positive ion is soluble. So remember, that means it's aqueous. So my sodium nitrate is aqueous. Next, I checked my silver iodide. Here are my iodides, plus any positive ion is soluble except silver. Well, I have silver, so that means it must be insoluble. If it's insoluble, that's a solid. So here's my solid. Okay, so that was step one, check solubilities. Then I circle my solid. So I circle my silver iodide, and I write the solid as the product. So I write my net ionic equation here. My product, silver iodide, and I include my state of matter. Now for my reactants, I write two ions that came together to make the solid. So this came from silver and iodide ions. So my silver ions, which is aqueous, plus my iodide ions, also aqueous, came together. Now they are ions. Remember, ions have the charge, so I need to include my charges, my states of matter, and it needs to be balanced. One silver here, one here, and iodide here and here. Now for the next one. Sodium carbonate plus barium nitrate react together to make barium carbonate and sodium nitrate. Now to balance, I put a 2 here. Okay, check my solubilities. Both reactants are always aqueous. So aqueous, aqueous. I check my products. Barium carbonate. Well, I have carbonates. Carbonate plus any alkali ion. Well, barium's not an alkali ion. Is soluble. A carbonate plus any other positive ion is not soluble. So this is a solid. Double check my other one. Ends in nitrate. So a nitrate ion plus any positive ion is soluble. So this is aqueous. On to my next step. I circle my solid. Now I write the solid as a product of the net ionic equation. So my solid is my product. For reactants, write two ions that came together to make the solid. I have barium ions and carbonate ions. So my barium ion plus my carbonate ion came together to make barium carbonate. Again, I have ions here with my states of matter. So net ionic, the net ions that came together to make my solid. All the other ions are spectator ions. They're not involved with making my solid.